Hey there, this is Jennifer with NorthwestStamper.com, and I am back to share with you the card that I made as the swap for the Stampin' Up! Grand Vacation. Now, this was my first time that I got to go on the big vacation. This is a special incentive trip that Stampin' Up! Offers to demonstrators who achieve certain milestones in terms of sales and with their team, and I was so grateful that with the support of my team and my customers, I was able to go on the cruise and travel around the Mediterranean with other top demonstrators at the end of May, which was super exciting. And so while they're there, they actually do have some stamping on the boat, if you can believe it. They have a hospitality room with display boards and some examples, and there's a make and take, I guess. And just lots of fun little things. And so there's actually a swap that you could opt into. And this was the card that I made for the swap. I was using some of my new goodies that I got out of in my pre-order for the annual catalog that starts June 1st with Stampin' Up! So I thought I would share with you how I made this so that if you wanted to try to do some of this yourself, that you know how to do it and can have fun doing it with me. So we're starting out by using a card base that's out of the new Dapper Denim. These are the new ink colors that are coming out, and so Dapper Denim is the new kind of dusty blue. Those of you that were fans of Not Quite Navy or some of those other lighter blues, you'll love this one. We're also going to use the Peekaboo Peach in this card, as well as some of the other colors. So, but our base is the beautiful Dapper Denim. This you're going to want to have cut to 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So you can just fold it over and grab your bone folder and just press it down flat. Now you'll notice if you haven't seen me do this before, that when I press with my bone folder, always start in the middle and press outward. Otherwise, if you start on one end and go on the other, you can tend to twist your paper, which means they won't line up as nicely on the side. So you'll want that. You'll want a piece of paper that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to layer on here. And then we have a couple other pieces here. This one is 5.5 by, I have to look this one up, 1 3/4. 1 3/4 by 5.5. And then a piece that is 1 1/4, and so saffron. Oh, this was Pool Party. So 1 1/4 by 3. So those are the pieces we're going to use on the card. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and start by actually making this swooshy shape. Now this is a cool die that's out of the new Swirly Scribbles set. It goes with the Swirly Bird stamp set that I'll actually be using. So it's just one big crazy die here. They have some circles and then they have some shapes that coordinate with the Swirly Bird stamp set. But for this particular card, I'm just using that little swoosh. And then we'll get to these in just a second. So to cut this out, you'll take this piece of paper, the 5.5 by 1 3/4, and then we're going to grab the Big Shot, which I've managed to hide from myself. Here we go. And with this, because it's kind of detailed, I like to use my precision plate. So I'm just using my multi-purpose platform with the precision plate on top. Put down your paper and your die, kind of adjust it how you like. And then you're just going to put a clear cutting plate on the top. Roll it through. It's going to be a little bit tight, but it'll work just fine. Okay, and that's all the die cutting we need to do. So I'm going to set this aside. Now, you can just sit there and poke it out. It's not that big of a deal. I liked using my little die brush and mat that comes with it. You sort of go like this a little bit, and it just helps loosen all those pieces and knock that shape. It should knock it out right for me, which is doing right here. Oh, one little part got stuck. So you can just go back through, and I of course am not pressing the right spot. So if it does that, just hold it up and rub a little. And I'll just pop it out for you. I say this. There we go. There we go. Okay. All the pieces. Made that look harder than it was, but you get the idea. So we have this little piece. Now we're going to start building. So I took this, actually before I get started with this part, first I'm going to sponge. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do my sponging first. You can do this in any order. Whoop. That was a close one. I just popped that sucker right out. Okay, so that's my Pool Party ink. I'm going to use a sponge dauber. And we're just going to sponge all the way around the edge to add a little bit of the sea into our card. Sea and sky, I guess. Because I go all the way around on all four sides. I love the sponge dauber because it's a great way to add color, and it softens the transition from one cardstock to another when you have matting layers, which is always kind of nice. And when you use the dauber, because it's kind of a thimble, it makes it, you get a lot of control and your hand doesn't get messy. Because I'm sure we've all had the experience of trying to stamp and coming away with big messy hands. Okay, so sponge that. We will just close that up for now. So then what I'm going to do is, we know that that's going to be there. I'm not going to bother gluing it down for now. But you can kind of pick and choose. Your waves can be that way. These are going to be my little sea waves. So I'm going to have them sort of round down. And then I'm going to go over to my Swirly Bird stamp set. I'm going to put together a boat. Now in the catalog it's a little bit easier to see than on the stamp set. You have two pieces of your boat that can overlap, which is what we're going to do there. You have the little extra sail here, the bottom of your boat, and then a little tiny flag. So let's start with the bottom of our boat. I'm going to use Tip Top Taupe. It's a returning ink color. And just ink it up. Now this is where, because I'm going to want it to be right about where that is, I'll just move it down a little. Stamp. And the thing is if once you stamp that, you can kind of adjust where this is going to be. You just sort of wanted that for placement to kind of get it started. So, actually don't need that base right yet. So there is the bottom of your boat. Then we'll move on to the underside of our little sail. So that was this one here. So I'm going to ink that up in Pool Party. And just come down over here and stamp. Look at that, easy peasy. Now we're going to get tricky, because now we're going to use the Dapper Denim. We're going to tie it into our card base and use the stripes. So ink that guy up. And then this one you have to look a little bit more. So just look straight down. That's the nice thing about photopolymer. You just look straight down and voila. Because you can see where you're going and what you've inked up was darker, it's a lot easier to see. Then we'll hop over to our So Saffron and grab our little other sail. It's that little triangle. And he just goes next. Now when I'm lining him up, I kind of aim for his straight line to be, I sort of use that to follow here. Sometimes I do it better than others. That turned out all right. And then I thought it just needed the little flag, and so that's where I reached for this Peekaboo Peach. It's just kind of a pretty bright orange. I didn't want to go into the pinks because I wanted this to be able to stay a masculine card, so I wanted it to. So I'll just put him on here and put him at the top of our boat. So see how stinking adorable that little boat is? That's why I love the Swirly Bird set. If you see this and you're going, what in the world is that? That's a kite. You can overlap them and have a kite string with little bows. You can have a bird, and this, instead of being a boat, can be his nest with eggs. You have flowers and leaves. I've used these for clouds and suns. So many options. That's the fun thing, is every time you look at it, you see something just a little bit different. So once you have that there, we can start adhering our pieces if we want it. So I will go ahead and glue this down because I like how it's stamped. I always stamp it first because if I do something wrong and I don't like it, I can flip it over and try again before I glue it down. So I'm just going to take some of my handy tape runner, run a little bit on here, and glue it down to my card base, trying to get it nice and even around all the sides. And for this, because it's so skinny, it doesn't really work very well to use the tape runner. So instead we use the fine tip glue pen with the little points. It makes it nice and easy. So when you open yours up, I always like to kind of pick at the end just to make sure if any little bit's dried that it's pulled off so that I don't have to worry about it. Now, when you put your glue down with the fine tip glue pen, think of it more in terms of dots, not so much in terms of drawing lines. And think about trying to focus on the areas where there's kind of this thicker part of your cardstock. Because if you just sat there and drew the line, you'll end up with too much glue that smushes out the side. And while it tends to dry clear, sometimes it can leave a little bit of a shine, which we don't always want. So I just think of sort of daubing it, and then I'll kind of look up close, make sure we got enough where I needed it to. That looks good. And close him up. Then you can just pick him up, position him where you want. Because it was at 5.5, should fit all the way to my edges. And I just overlapped the bottom of my boat just a little so that it really looked like it was in my waves. Now to kind of add a little bit of ocean shine, I took some Wink of Stella, the clear here, and I just painted in between on the whites. Now I think it would actually look pretty cool if I did it on the blue itself, but I just wanted it to be very subtle, so I just sort of did it inside the white here. You can go back over if you want it to be more glittery, but it just adds a little bit of shine when you're seeing it in person. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it super well, but if you can, there's a camera. It just adds a little bit of something to it. I think it just adds some nice sparkle in when you see it up close in person. So we're coming along. See how quick this is coming together? Then I'm going to go over to my new Love and Affection stamp set. I love the sentiment. You are every lovely word I could possibly think of. Actually, I love all the sentiments. You make me ridiculously happy and sending a smile your way. But I'm going to use this, you are every lovely word I could possibly think of. And we're going to use it again with the Dapper Denim, this time on the So Saffron. So we're just ink that up, stamp it in the middle. And then what I did is I just tore the edges. And I kind of tear at an angle so that I get the exposure of the sort of in between of the papers. I want it to be rough, and so just something along those lines. Now I'm just going to sponge the edges just because I thought it looked nice just to sponge the edges with the So Saffron. Okay, so here's the So Saffron. Just adding a little bit on here. Again, you know me, I'm just a big addict to my sponge daubers, and I like to add little bits of definition. I'm going to do it on the edges too, just to kind of draw out that roughness that I got from tearing. Kind of feels sort of vintagey, I guess. So I just have that, and then we're going to take some dimensionals. I just grabbed a couple and stick them on the back to put on our card. So I just have this on here so it overlaps the edge just a little bit. Put that there, and then for our final touch, I'm going to grab my linen thread and I'm just going to tie a little bow to put at the bottom of our sentiment. This is kind of my throwback to nautical themes, even though it's not super nautical. Just this little, so we have a little tie here. And then to stick it on, because this is such a little thread and so tiny, you can go back to your fine tip glue pen and just kind of pick the spot that you want and just do a little dot of the liquid glue on there. And then stick your bow straight on top of there. So I just have this on here, and then I take my knot, stick it down. Now it's going to take a minute to dry, but if you let it sit and dry, it will hold firm. And there you have it, a cute little card that is perfect for any guy in your life or girl. Yeah. So if you have any questions or about this card or about the products, or if you want any of them, be glad to hear from you. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. I have links to all the products that I showed down in the comment or in the text below this video in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it, and then even consider subscribing. There's a subscribe button down here that you can get notifications or see all the videos that I do as I publish them. So I hope you have a great day, enjoy trying out these new products, and happy stamping!